Today, we fight that most virulent of undead foes, the vampire.
Hello, and welcome to the...
It's been so long!
Wait, did we just decide to wear the same clothes that we wore last time? What? What? That's ridiculous! No, that can't be true. No, it's not like we're banking up a bunch of episodes before Wade goes off to camp and we don't see each other for a few weeks.
Definitely not
definitely not what's happening, because we don't care enough about the viewers to make sure there's a constant stream of content.
You know what's funny about that? I've always hated when people stock up and then
takes weight and parcel them out.
Why do you have to like this is legit? I hate that.
We are the blood diamonds of YouTube videos. That's what we do with diamonds.
That's it.
Well,
anyway, vampires.
Okay, Vampires, lovely.
They're so cool.
They are cool. I like vampires a lot. Not quite as much as zombies. They're not as much. Although they're Jesus Christ, Dracula is such a good book. I love it. It's cool because it's the first book that I remember reading that's epistolary, which is the fancy pants word for it's written as letters and diary entries and newspaper clippings. Ooh. So the whole book is just like it's the found footage film of 18th century literature.
That's fantastic.
19th century. 19th century. I always fuck that up. I always say 1800s is the 19th century. Right. Yeah. Moving on.
Do you want to tell us more about the inception of vampires, or?
Because I'm such a huge geek, I know that vampires come from a lot of the roots are Russian, Eastern European, the vampire, and what are some of the general rules for vampires? What are acceptable vampire powers?
So super strength.
Yes, strong.
See in the night.
Mm-hmm. They fangs. Fangs. They're sort of the sunlight thing. Sometimes it's that it weakens them. Sometimes it's that it kills them. And I think I can live with either. Yeah, either of them are fine. What I cannot live with,
for the sake of this episode, we are not going to mention Twilight.
Except to say, fuck
Spark.
No. Stephanie Meyer, you brought vampires into the 21st century only to kill them.
Which is funny because they're dead. You
staked vampires to the heart by making them sparkly.
No more Twilight and Twilight discussion. So vampires, what are they? They are undead.
They're undead. They are,
which is interesting.
So I think the idea is that the first vampire was cursed. For somewhat was cursed into coming back. I think there are some myths that are like wished for eternal life and then got it because he turned into a vampire. Or some of it was like he was such a cruel, evil, villainous person that he got cursed and by like sent back from hell and blah blah. Yeah. But and there's some of the more esoteric ones. There's in terms of superpowers. There's the can turn into mist.
Can turn into bats.
Bats. Has control over pack animals, so rats, dogs, wolves.
Temporarily mesmerization of humans.
Yes, that it can mind control.
I think there's
that is a big thing in Dracula.
Yeah, vampires, thralls. They're basically zombies.
Yeah, telepathy is a thing. Which is a huge plot point in Dracula. Which is great. Yeah, super speed, flight.
Disease. The only time I've ever seen disease is actually in Oblivion and Skyrim, which you've probably seen more if there is any disease.
Well, I mean, the whole vampire idea, it's magic, but the way it's transmitted is very much sort of disease-like. It's sort of...
I'm not sure it is, though.
Well, it's always through biting, and it's...
I always felt like it was biting, and then, like, they gave you their blood, and this blood would, like... It was like super duper vampire blood.
It's supernatural, definitely, but it's weirdly scientifically supernatural. That it's the idea. It's like an STD. When the blood mixes, you get whatever the virus is, whatever the thing that makes them vampire-y, and it infects you. And it takes sort of an infectious turn where it's like In Dracula, he's like feeding on someone, and they don't turn into a vampire right away. It's like you have to feed on them for a certain amount of time, and like you can counteract the effect of the if they're like a halfway vampire by giving them a blood transfusion. And so it is really scientifical, even in the fact that
there was this really cool Cirque du Freak.
Oh, I read the first two.
Yes.
No, first three.
I loved that series.
It was fun.
It's very ridiculous. It's kind of a kid's book. I don't know. 12-year-old, 12, 13, 12. I would read them again.
I mean, I read them when I was like 14 years old because I was like 12 and reading books meant for adults. Stephen King books. I read the Stephen and Jerusalem's Lot. Great vampire book. Really creepy. Read it if you like vampires. So I read books that are way too old for me when I was too young, and then I read books that were too young for me when I was too old.
So it has this. The kind of concept it has there's this one character who's like, you can become a vampire in replace of your friend because your friend's too evil, basically.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because it was like he was like a teenager, and he became like a half vampire is what he was actually called, I think.
So he didn't make him full vampire.
Yeah, because if they made him full, because vampires in that book aged 10 times slower than humans did. So he was like 15, so he would
be 15 for
10 years.
Yeah, and there are some vampire mythologies where you stay whatever age you are. Just till you're 15 or whatever.
Hilarious. In Skyrim, there is a little girl who is a vampire. And it is hilarious. She's like 500 years old or something.
Great.
There's something really cool in Skyrim / the Elder Scrolls series. There was a book. It's amazing. There's so many little lore things in the Elder Scrolls, but there was a book. And it was like, this guy, what he did, it's like, he was a vampire, like, historian or something, so he knew all about vampires. And this young man came to him and said, tell me about these vampires, and, like, where they're located, and where their coven is and stuff. So then he would go and he would kill these vampires, and then, like, the water vampires. And it's like, tell me about the elusive vampires of Tamriel, I think. It's like, they're actually very similar to humans. If they drink blood constantly, they look exactly like humans. But if they don't drink blood for 4 days, then they become... Which I really like that concept.
I like that idea.
It allows for people to drink blood and be in society with still this... Wait, almost done. Then the final thing of the story was the vampire historian was like, the young man went out and like, I can't find any of these. It's like, well, maybe you haven't been looking in the right places. And it's like, I haven't fed in a while. And it was like, so good. It was fantastic. All right, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a vampire?
I think in the grand scheme of things, I can deal. I can deal with being a vampire. It depends on
you
how...
Deal, but
it depends on how much of... How bad is the bloodlust? Because I think because if it was like you have to feed every day, that'd be rough.
Have you seen?
If it was like no.
There's this show called Being Human, and what it does
looks really cool.
It's a great show. I need to continue watching it. It has vampires, werewolves, and a ghost, and that's basically the whole premise.
And roommates.
They're roommates. And it's fantastic. It's hilarious, and they're trying to. The whole goal is they're trying to.
It's better than it sounds, supposedly.
I know vampires, werewolves. You kind of think really bad, right? But
vampires, werewolves, and a ghost are roommates. That sounds like the worst premise for a sitcom ever. But I've heard it's actually good.
But the main one of the main characters, the vampire, he is like he doesn't want to be a vampire. He thinks it's a curse, and he is trying not to feed on people because he's a good person. So what he does is he's actually a nurse, so he eats blood from blood packs. But they taste horrible for him, and he's gone like days without having blood, and he becomes like really tired, has headaches, almost eats a kid once.
Yeah, I mean, I think the two things that would be the stopping points would be how bad is the bloodlust? So if it's like an everyday kind of thing, or if it's like if it's a supplementary part of the diet. If you need to have blood the same way that a diabetic needs to watch their sugar and get insulin shots, then that'd be fine. But if it's like you need to have blood the same way that kidney failure patients need dialysis once a day or multiple times a day, I couldn't deal with that. But I could deal with it if it was a more... Because like you could get used to it. It could be sort of a fact of life thing. The other thing, I mean, I wouldn't want to be immortal. I would hope someone kills me at some point, because just I couldn't deal with living. I could deal with living for a long time, I think, can deal with living forever.
You have the choice though to kill yourself because they're
No,
not.
that's true. You can kill yourself.
You can kill
save
yourself.
yourself whenever you want. Okay, so that would be a totally
You can
no
kill yourself.
problem.
So no problem.
Okay, so just the bloodlust. How bad is the bloodlust? Okay, what about you?
Yes, hands down.
Hands down.
I mean, okay. So here's what I imagine happening. If the bloodlust was too bad, I would. I'm not sure if I would do this or not, but something I could imagine myself doing would be contacting government authorities, or not even necessarily government authorities, just like a research group of people who aren't the government because the government's scary. Who would be...
Are you suggesting like a national sex offender registry for vampires?
No, I am not. I am suggesting...
you have to, when you move into a new neighborhood, you have to knock on the doors holding out a flyer saying, like, I'm a vampire.
If you notice anything right next, don't worry about it. But I mean, like, I would give them... I would go to a research group and say, hey, you can study me and just general things if you supply me with blood.
How long would it be till they try to dissect you?
Would that matter? Because the only way you can die as a vampire basically is stake through the heart, maybe cut off your head is another one.
No, silver bullet is werewolf. Fire can kill you.
There aren't that many ways that can kill you. That just
awesome.
So like it'd be painful if they were to dissect me, but I'd be like, bro, you're done dissecting me now. Can I
go?
Can I go?
Get some blood?
Can I get some blood? You've done as much as you can with me.
So you would be like the broke college student of vampires.
Yes.
I have I'll sign up for all of your medical tests. I get $200 at the end of this, right? $200 and some cookies, right?
I feel like I would be strong enough and have enough vampire superpowers that I'd be easily able to escape if I wanted to. And I feel like I don't.
What? Garlic infused room.
Garlic. That's a good point.
Or daytime. Ooh, that's a thing to deal with. I can deal with being nocturnal. I'm fine.
I could easily be nocturnal.
As long as it wasn't you die in the sunlight. If it was you were weak in the sunlight,
I could deal with pain. I think if you
I can deal with pain or it makes you too weak to be in the sun. I couldn't deal with it kills you if you're in the sun.
I think given enough time the sun will kill you. So like if you were a full maybe
which
a
it will
full
anyway.
Day.
For humans it will anyway.
Technically it will anyway, sure. A full day in the sun, I guess. If that were to kill me.
Okay, I can deal with that too. So you would become a vampire no matter what.
Basically.
And I would become a vampire based on how bad the bloodlust was, although I think it'd be the kind of thing that I would want to, if I was given the option of it, I would be like, can I have a few more years as a human first, and then, because it's once you go vampire, you never go back.
If I aged or not.
Ooh, I wouldn't want, but I would wait to...
I would wait till I'm at least like 20 something.
Yeah, but I would not wait so long that I was going to get decrepit, because I wouldn't want to be decrepit forever. And then one other thing, before we wrap this up, is if you like vampires, watch Let the Right One In. Watch the Swedish one. I haven't watched the American one, but the Swedish one is so good, and one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, and the ending scene, which I won't spoil a thing about, will literally just scare the pants off you. It's so fucking good.
Oh, God.
Like, subscribe, comment. Oh, would you want to be a vampire?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Why not?
Definitely there. Oh, how about this for a new thing? Whichever answers that we really like, we can read on the next episode.
Not actually the next episode, because of certain reasons.
Okay, that's true. But we'll read eventually.
Yeah, we'll read them eventually.
Okay, ignore that. I'll probably...
Yeah.
But, yeah.
8 Club out.